So I'm back for part 2 of the knuckle ring flowers to wear. I showed you how to create the mechanics of this with the wire, the double ring, and how they were sort of melded together, and how I shaped it to create this kind of really cool knuckle ring. And today I wanted to show you how to flower it. I'm hoping to show you how to do it in 3 different ways. Sort of basic, simple, and maybe a little bit flowery, and another different version. So 3 different versions. So you'll be able to see how we do this today. So once the structure is built and it's set in a position that you can now get ready to glue, the first step is to create a chenille coil. So we're taking the chenille and coiling it, in this case, half a length from one end and then in the other. So it has a kind of a fern curl look to it. We're just wrapping it up with bullion wire to keep it in that same shape. Just wrapping it around and around so that it stays in that exact size and it doesn't unloosen. And then the next thing that we do is take the U-glue dashes, I should say, and just attach that chenille onto the structure itself. Now, it seems like an obvious, not a coincidence, but that I'm using the Tillandsia xerographica as one of the components to almost mimic the structure that I built with a wire. I think nature is always so often our inspiration. And really, if anything, the structure itself, the knuckle ring, is inspired by the shaping of the Tillandsia xerographica. You can see that. And the repetition of the curvilinear flow that you get out of it just repeats itself with that plant as one of the main structure kind of building in this particular knuckle ring treatment. I'm using a little bit of jasmine foliages, and these are really sturdy jasmine foliages, something that's kind of hardened on the vine, not the fresh new growth at the tip, because they hold up really, really well as a greenery. And it's just nice soft flow. And I'm using the sempervivum or hens and chicks, the little babies that I harvest out in the garden, as sort of an accent to go with the xerographica, and also ultimately the miniature phalaenopsis orchid that we're using here, spiked into the ends of the knuckle ring structure. And then I'm using a little bit of, out of the garden again, Hello Boris buds that are so pretty, that picks up the kind of the rosy color in the miniature phalaenopsis. And so that then it kind of solidifies the heart of the design that makes it easier to glue more flowers into the middle. We're sort of working from the outside in is generally the way I work, so that I can develop the center at the end to be the focal emphasis area. So using the different size of the miniature phalaenopsis that comes on the little plant that I purchased, the smaller pieces at the outer ends, and then the bigger pieces into the middle. And the way that the structure has been built up, and also with the xerographica, it is possible for us to build a little bit of depth into the placement of the miniature phalaenopsis so that it looks much more voluminous in through the middle into the heart of this knuckle ring structure. So really just clear and simple, but it's really about repetition of the form. So you can see that I actually kind of work with the Oasis cold glue. It seals off the end, cauterizes the end so that it makes it stay nice and firm. In this case, the jasmine vine often is not something that you would use, but because it's a more hardened segment of the vine, that I feel comfortable that I can use it. In this case, it'll hold up well if it's a very hardened vine, not the real fine, fresh growing tips. So this way, I'm attaching it to the frame with a little bit of bullion wire, and of course using the little foliages of the jasmine as the base to glue onto the chenille. Chenille is absolutely the best surface to glue on. Once you glue with the Oasis cold glue to the chenille, it just will not come off. We're actually using a combination of sort of the lavender purples, and in this case using the jasmine or lavender, and also the angelonia, which is the other purple sort of racemes of flowers that I've used here, and in combination with the jasmine vine. And then I'm also using the ornamental oregano. Basically what I've done here in all of my knuckle ring flowering is a lot of garden plants. I go shopping at the garden center and buying little potted plants so that I can cut off little pieces off of it, the blossoms, etc., and parts of the foliages, and then I simply plant it in the garden. In this case, I'm also using the miniature hollyhock, which is so absolutely gorgeous. The marking on it, on that kind of a pink lavender with the dark sort of a purple center, is so stunning. And so I'm using that in the focal area. I'm dipping the ends of all of the blossoms and foliages into the cold glue so that it stays in there firmly, locks into place. Oasis glue is absolutely the best glue you can possibly use for fresh flowers. In this case now, I'm actually using the tip of the Ornithogalum thyrsoides, which is full out open. And so it gives you a nice cluster all at once that really looks fabulous in the center of this particular knuckle ring flower design. And then I'm also using it as a spot to glue in the last couple of pieces of hollyhock so that it floats out. It just is a way to be able to build up the size of the focal emphasis area so it becomes the heart of the design. So into the third design that's already in progress, I'm kind of using a little bit of, again, flowers from the little pots. So this is a miniature rose bush that I purchased in the 4-inch pot. I've taken the little buds and I've inserted them with a little bit of Oasis glue to the ends of the curvilinear form. Used the bud, a little bit more open bud, and a full open miniature rose into the center. Again, use the jasmine foliage as the main cover over the chenille so that it gives you a nice finished green surface to glue your final flower insertions into. I am now using the little celosia spicata. Those are the little miniature celosias that are so beautiful. Texturally, it accents the combination of flowers really, really beautifully. It also picks up the rose color in the middle of the miniature phalaenopsis that we have going on here in combination. So it really helps tie in all the colors and textures together beautifully. I also have a little bit of lavender foliage that's very, very soft, sort of draping along with a little bit of the hanging amaranthus, the green, to kind of develop the tail of this particular knuckle ring. And then finally, I'm actually accenting it with sort of a protrusion of actually honeysuckle blossoms. So I'm taking a full cluster of honeysuckle and cutting it up into each individual floret, and they are being inserted to give you a little bit of extension and depth and to bring out the little bit of the yellow and the peach that's in the combination of flowers that are in here. So it kind of gives you that little bit of an extension out and gives you sort of a little bit more airy, gardeny kind of a feel. I love the little stamens that come out of the honeysuckle blossoms, and it just gives you that little bit of a little bit more size and airiness. That's just sort of gives you that very gardeny kind of a feel. Gives you a wonderful color combination and beautiful textural finish. So we're just gluing on last little touches of Hello Boris buds again. So we're really using a little bit of what we used in previous designs, but composed in a different way. Wow, I really like the way this one turned out. This is really a fun project. I hope you enjoyed the 3 different versions of decorating the knuckle ring, and I hope you can implement some of this into your repertoire of flowers to wear. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe.